Hi everyone, it's Jessica Dybzinski, and as you can see, it is Craft IQ Challenge time once again, which happens on the 20th of every month. These are the 7 different layers that we are incorporating into our layout today. So I am a little nervous about number 1, which said to paper weave on the background of your layout. I don't know that I've ever done that before, so we'll see. All right, I pulled these photos from a few years ago of my oldest daughter's first day of 2nd grade, and I was inspired by the rainbow on her shirt. That's where I got the idea to pull these particular colors of cardstock, and yeah, so I'm just going to use all cardstock actually on this layout. I don't end up using any pattern paper, and I don't know the last time that happened, so that's kind of cool. I've cut them to 3/4 of an inch by 11, and then I will take some time to go through and dovetail the ends of all of them. So these are colors from close to my heart. I've got peach, mint, and a new color coming out in August called periwinkle. And because close to my heart's cardstock is two-toned, I've just got the light and dark side. I just flipped it over front to back. So there we go. Those pieces are all prepared. And now to begin the paper weaving, which I'm pretty sure I've never done before, and I'm just going to give it my best effort here. So I figured it would probably be best to start somewhere in the center and then work my way out so that I don't end up, terribly off-centered. And so I think what I'm going to do is try to keep it in that rainbow-ish formation where it goes from the peach to the mint to the periwinkle. And so since that would put the mint in the middle, I'm just grabbing the darkest shade of mint here and placing that. And then probably 2 or 3 times I realized that I had things in the wrong order and I had to pick my pieces up and start over. It was really just a bit of a logistical nightmare, which I actually don't think it really was that hard of a puzzle for my brain, but I was just so nervous about paper weaving that I couldn't think about anything else, and I kept making some silly mistakes like this. So now that I've got all the initial strips down, I did just put a little bit of adhesive at the top of it and then nowhere else. As you can see, it's not stuck down to the page. So just at the top there. I actually think that this looks really pretty, and I wish that I could leave it this way, but no, I have to do some paper weaving. So now I'm going to start. Here we go. So I just go over, under, and then I realized pretty quickly with my very first weaved strip here that I actually put my adhesive too far on the top of those initial strips that are going vertically. So I do have to kind of mess with that a little bit. But then I just alternate, so then the next time I go over, under, and so on and so forth. And I'm following the same pattern that I had initially. So I've got, the light side, the dark side, the light side, the dark side of those colors in the same order. And I thought that it would look pretty cool, but then again, I get almost all the way done and realize, nope, I don't like this. I don't like the look of this. And I think I want to change the order of my papers. So even though I am nearly done with 4 strips left to go, I start pulling them all off. So I cut a lot of this out. The paper weaving was definitely a challenge for me on this particular Craft IQ set of layers. So I don't know if you've ever done it before and you have any tips, let me know. I'm not sure I'm going to be attempting paper weaving again anytime soon. Although, even though at this point of my project, I was really frustrated and nervous and not sure I was going to like the layout, I end up absolutely loving it. So it does work out in the end, and I am glad that I kind of switched the order of my colors here. I decided to start with my peach color in the center and then fan out to either side and then repeat that same idea going in the opposite direction. So go ahead and finish weaving the last of these strips here. So this periwinkle, that blue color, is a new one that is coming out in August, and it is super pretty. It's like the perfect mix of like a light purple, but also a blue, and it just really matched the color of that rainbow in my daughter's shirt perfectly, and I was super excited that I was able to pull that and add it to this. I think that these colors look really great together, and so like I said, I was a little frustrated with the weaving, but eventually I do love the final look of it. Okay, and so since I had just tacked down the very top of those strips, I did take a little bit of time with my tape runner and go around and secure basically the ends. So, you know, the middle part really kind of held itself together. And when I first started, I was trying to keep everything straight, but then I just kind of had to embrace the fact that not all the strips were going to be straight and some of them might be a little wonky. And that was fine, and that kind of goes, I think, with the look of weaving. So I just went with it, but I did, like I said, put a little adhesive down around the edges to try to tack that down. And then I very carefully pulled the whole thing up off of my white cardstock base, because again, it's really only attached to that white piece of cardstock at the very top of those first strips. And that way I can add some more adhesive to the back as one whole unit. Now that I'm finished with the weaving, and that seemed to work out pretty well. And I was also able to kind of make some minor adjustments to the placement of it and center it just a little bit better because things had been shifting and moving as I was weaving. So, okay, almost done with this part. So relieved that I figured it out and it turned out. And like I said, I do in the end really love the way that this works. Okay, another one of the layers for this challenge was that we had to use a minimum of 3 photos. And I'm going to be honest, that actually was kind of really a struggle for me, almost as much as the weaving. I don't mind including lots of photos in my layouts, but trying to find the right 3 photos that I wanted to do, that was hard, that I had printed. That was kind of a challenge for me. You'll see I do have one blank photo there. I have it printed, but it is a class photo that my daughter's teacher sent all the parents on the first day of school. And since they're not my kids, I just didn't think I should include them in the video. So I will attach that at the end off camera. Okay, another layer is to include gold somewhere. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I love my gloss spray in the gilt color. I do this quite a bit where I just unscrew the lid and then tap against it to create some fun splatters. And that looks really pretty on there. I know you can't really see far away here, but those are just sparkly and gorgeous little flecks of gold all over. Okay, and then I did figure out the placement of these 3. I think I'm going to do a formation like this. That was another one of the things I struggled with, was trying to figure out, okay, I've got these 3. I've narrowed it down to which 3 I want to use, but how am I going to put them together when I have 2 vertical and 1 horizontal? So I believe my vertical photos are cut to 3.5 by 5, and then the class photo that I will put on is cut to 3.5 by 5.5. I couldn't get it down to the same 5 inches without cutting somebody in the class off, so it's just slightly bigger. All right, going down my list here, I've actually included a lot of things already. I've got paper weaving, 3+ photos, colored cardstock, and the next thing, gold, and the next thing is to include cork, or if someone didn't have cork and you were participating in this challenge, just something of a weird texture. Well, I do have cork, and the other layer is to include some foam thickers. And these are literally the only ones I have. I have these white foam alphabet letters from Close to My Heart, so I'm going to use those to spell out grade. I had to kind of, you know, when you have like a set of alphabets and that you get down to after using them for a while, like, okay, what words can I put together with the letters that I have left? And I couldn't do first day or second in grade without running out of D's or things like that. So grade is what I'm going to spell out, and then later I will grab the number 2. But I do like the way that that looks. Since there's so much color in that weaving on the background, I like that the white foam letters just kind of seem to be a gentle place to look at on for your eye on the layout. Okay, and then like I said here, I grabbed that 2. I wasn't sure I wanted to use it, so I just cut around carefully on the backing so I could kind of put it there to see first, and then I decide, yep, I'm going to go for it. And then I am going to stamp off camera the letters ND on a little piece of white cardstock, and then just do that for second grade. Okay, I had this in my bowl of, you know, the little die cuts that don't get used on a project and that are left over. And it's part of a slimline die cut that I actually had cut in half at one point. And so I just stamped some journal lines in that periwinkle ink, and then I tucked it under that photo. That's going to be where I add my journaling later. And then off of my cork shapes, now these are from the Sweet as Honey collection from Close to My Heart, and I'm not sure if they are still available. Anything that is available that I've used, I will link down below. But I love these. It was like a bee honey kind of themed collection, and these are just some really awesome cork shapes, and they've got adhesive on the back side. But I'm just sticking with the hearts that are on that little collection rather than the hexagons, because I figured the hexagons didn't really have anything to do with anything. So I'm just scattering some different sized hearts around my page, thinking about my 3 points of interest and clusters, if you will. And then there I've got, those are so cute. I love that. So now I think all I have left to do at this point is sequins. That's the last thing on my list. Okay, this is a new stamp of the month from Close to My Heart. It's the one for August, so this is a little sneak peek for you if you were watching this at the end of July. It's called Teach, Love, and Inspire, and I'm super excited about it because I am a teacher, and I often make cards for my children's teachers, so I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. But I'm going to pull, there's like a stack of books and then also a cup that has like scissors and ruler and pencils and things like that in it. And I'm going to stamp those in intense black ink, and then off camera I'm going to use my tri-blend markers to color those in and make my own little embellishments. They are so cute. I love those. Okay, no, I'm definitely going to get a lot of use out of that. I did put some foam dots on the back of my stack of books, but I'm going to glue the cup of pencils and whatnot as flat to the page. Whoops, I forgot to pull that photo off before I hit record. And then I'm just going to tuck those around my second grade title. Okay, nearly done. Like I said, the last thing I have on my list of 7 layers for this challenge is the sequins. But above my journaling lines here, I thought I still had enough space to stamp a little something. So I went into my stash of school-themed stamp sets, and this is an older retired one. And this just says first day of, and then I thought that was a good way to kind of tie into the second grade down below the photos. And then I'll add my journaling later. Okay, so I am actually looking for some specific sequins, the same ones that I used on a recent card project, if you've been watching any of my other videos. These are the gold loose sequins, but there are some really fun iridescent ones in there that kind of have like a peachy, pinky kind of tone to them when they catch the light. And those are the ones that I am picking out and scattering around by my cork hearts. And then also in the gold loose sequins, there are some stars that are just like some clear sequins in the shape of stars, and they come in different sizes. And I thought, oh, that's really fun. And so I grabbed a couple of stars as well to include in some of those clusters. So you can see there's one up here. I don't know, can you tell that star right there? The glue's still drying, so it'll dry clear. But I really love the way that that looks. And so that is pretty much it, guys. It came together. I hated it in the beginning. It was something that made me a little nervous and worried about, but I love the final result. And now I know how to do paper weaving. So, all right, there are a bunch of other scrapbookers who are participating in this Facebook group challenge using the same 7 layers, and they will all be linked down below. Like I said, this Craft IQ group, the people who participate, we do our videos on the 20th of every month, so be sure to come back again next month. All right, guys, I will leave links to anything that's available down below. Thank you so much for coming by and watching. I really appreciate it. Happy crafting. See you later. Bye.